Hey everyone, it's Saturday morning, February 21st, and welcome back to Capital Markets Quickie. I'm your host, Endrit Sella, here to break down yesterday's market action in just 2 minutes. Quick note before we dive in. Today's episode is brought to you by AMF Capital Asset Management Frankfurt. Learn more about our funds and strategies at amf-capital.de. Alright, let's get started. U.S. stocks pushed higher after the Supreme Court ruled that President Trump's most sweeping so-called Liberation Day tariffs were unlawful, saying he didn't have the authority to impose them using emergency powers. Markets clearly liked that decision. The Standard & Poor's 500 rose almost 0.7%, the Dow Jones Industrial Average added roughly 0.5%, and the tech-heavy Nasdaq Composite led the way, up nearly 0.9%. All three major indexes also ended the week in positive territory. Now, stocks actually reversed earlier losses after the ruling, even as investors continued to watch rising U.S.-Iran tensions and growing jitters around private credit. The court decided yesterday morning that the administration had overstepped its powers by using the International Emergency Economic Powers Act to impose tariffs on several trading partners back in April. In response, President Trump said at a press conference that his administration plans to introduce a 10% global tariff to replace the duties that were struck down. At the same time, Wall Street also had to digest weaker-than-expected economic data. U.S. gross domestic product growth for the fourth quarter came in at just 1.4%, well below expectations. Meanwhile, the core personal consumption expenditures index, the Federal Reserve's preferred inflation gauge, rose more than expected in December, both month-over-month and year-over-year. And finally, investors are keeping a close eye on the private credit space after a major asset manager paused withdrawals, fueling concerns that this could be an early warning sign. Experts are increasingly worried about exposure to software companies facing pressure from artificial intelligence-driven disruption. So overall, a strong market reaction to political headlines, but with plenty of macro and credit risk questions still hanging in the air. Alright, that wraps up today's Capital Markets Quickie. Join me again Monday morning for more market updates. See you then.